Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Calandra here, senior partner at Ramos Law. And let me tell you, one of the things I love, TV shows, movies about legal stuff, going all the way back to when I was a kid watching LA Law. That was one of my favorite shows, played a role in me becoming an attorney. And today we're going to be looking at courtroom TV show clips.
Unlicensed and unapologetic.
You were driving your mother's car, you hit the defendant's horse, killed it.
And an animal lover in shock.
Your horse was on a road.
My horse would have been where he was supposed to be and would not have been hit by her.
I don't want to hear you.
4 animals.
Put her outside, please.
I'd like to point out that she was impaired when she was driving.
So Judge Judy's fired up today. She's already throwing people out of her courtroom. Rule number 1 in a courtroom is follow the judge's orders. It's their courtroom, they know it, they're in control, and you absolutely have to do that. A judge will typically give you a warning if you're acting out of line. You may not get a second. And Judge Judy, this is TV drama. She doesn't have any patience for it. She's already throwing people out. But let's see what happens with the case. It sounds like a horse was killed by a driver. And I think one of the issues that's going to come up is whether or not this horse was where it was supposed to be. But still, you can't run over horses. So let's see what happens next.
She's impaired now.
Judge Judy.
Ms. Hall, is this your daughter?
Yes.
She was the one who was driving your car.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your daughter's last name is?
Tidwell,
How old are you?
33.
On January 2nd, 2019, you were driving your mother's car. You hit the defendant's horse and killed it. The collision caused damage to your car. You weren't in the car. That's what you're suing for.
Yes, Your Honor.
Crystal, on January 2nd, 2019, did you have a driver's license?
No.
So that's interesting. I thought at first maybe the lady that owned the horse was suing because of the horse, but in fact, the driver is suing the lady with the horse because she wants money for the damage to the car. That's interesting. So we already heard this person doesn't have a driver's license. Now, as crazy as this sounds, normally that doesn't matter. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a 15-year-old kid that's driving a car without a driver's license, and he gets rear-ended and he gets seriously injured in that car accident. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what the heck? The kid doesn't have a driver's license, so he doesn't have a claim or he doesn't have a case. It's not true. The kid didn't do anything wrong to cause the accident. The other driver rear-ends him, so even though he doesn't have a license, even though he's not supposed to be driving the car, that's not a defense that's going to take anything away from the fact that that person that hit him is going to have to pay for the damage that they caused. So let's see how it shakes out in this case.
Your case is dismissed.
Thank you.
She's not finished. She's got a counterclaim.
Yes.
And her counterclaim is for hitting her horse. Just in case you were wondering, and I'm sure you weren't.
No, strange there. I might have paused at the wrong spot, but it sounds like Judge Judy just dismissed the case for the damage to the car based solely on the fact that she was driving without a license. I don't agree with that. Doesn't matter if there's a license or not. As long as she's not at fault, the claim should have been paid. But now we're hearing from the horse person and there's a counterclaim. So when you sue somebody and they have a claim back against you, that's what they do. They will file something called a counterclaim. Basically, both parties are making claims against each other, and you have a plaintiff and a defendant, and then you have the counterclaims going across there. So now we're going to see what happens with the horse.
When you come into court, there's something called the doctrine of clean hands, which means you're supposed to come in with clean hands. You're not supposed to come in having done something wrong. Your daughter had no right to be behind the wheel of a car with no license. It says her license was revoked. Is that true?
I found out after the fact, yes, ma'am.
Did your daughter live anywhere near you?
She does.
Do you know why her license was revoked?
I did not know at the time.
Do you know now?
I do. She had a fine that was not paid.
Fine for what?
For a speeding ticket. And she had paid an attorney to take care of that. She did not know she had to reinstate her driver's license. I understand.
Don't make excuses for your children.
I understand.
Good. So I hope she works. She can pay for the damage that she caused to the car that she wasn't supposed to be driving in the first place.
So there, Judge Judy mentioned something called clean hands. You have to have clean hands before you come into court and ask for help. And generally that's true. We hear that a lot in contract law where you have to have clean hands in the dealings of the contract. But again, I'm going to disagree with Judge Judy here. You don't necessarily have to have clean hands to make a property damage claim if you didn't do anything wrong to cause the damage to the car. I haven't heard any evidence that this driver did anything wrong yet. So there, Judge Judy and I are going to disagree, which I'm sure she would scream her head off at me for, but I could take it. Let's see what happens next.
What was your horse doing out?
Your Honor, my horse was out due to a natural cause. I am not negligent, and I have proof.
Just a second. I've dismissed her case.
Yes, Your
I've
Honor.
dismissed her case, but your horse was on a road.
A bear tore down my fence. A bear tore down my
Honor.
fence.
Just a second. That may be.
That's not true.
If a bear tore down your fence, and who knows whether that's true or not, you're the parent. The horse doesn't know where to go. You're the parent of the toddler. It's your responsibility to maintain control over and take care of those little creatures that can't take care of themselves. Your horse was not where it was supposed to be. And if you claim it was there and it wasn't your fault because of an act of God or a bear tore down the fence, it was fenced in, but still your fault that your horse was not where it was supposed to be. And that actually had nothing to do with, perhaps, it being hit. She may have been going too fast. She may have been talking on the phone. Who knows? Who knows how it came about that she hit the horse? It may have been her fault. She can't pursue a matter for me because she has no clean hands. But your horse wasn't where it was supposed to be.
Actually, Your Honor, if I may present evidence showing that my horse would have been where he was supposed to be and would not have been hit by her.
I don't want to hear you.
Okay.
Your Honor, but
Two horses, mini horse, donkey, four animals.
Put her outside, please.
Okay, so this clip is a little strange. We were seeing this before. She's getting thrown out of the courtroom, so the sequencing was off a little bit there. But Judge Judy is actually breaking this down pretty well. Is the horse where it's supposed to be? Has the driver done something wrong? Who's really at fault here? Or are both of them at fault at different percentages? It'll be interesting to see how Judge Judy breaks this down.
Your Honor, my horse. Also, too, Your Honor, I'd like to point out that she was impaired when she was driving. I have.
She's impaired now.
She's been convicted 3 different times for driving while intoxicated.
I'd like to see that, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Could I say something?
What?
There was a state trooper, paramedics, EMT at the scene of the accident. The state trooper said your license was revoked.
Just a second. Don't tell me what the state trooper said,
But
madam.
she was not convicted or written a ticket for any impairment.
Miss Hall?
Objection, Your Honor,
Miss
that's a
Hall,
lie.
does your daughter live with you?
No, ma'am.
Does she live with children?
Yes,
Whose children?
her children.
Does she live alone with her children?
Yes.
How old are her children?
They're 7 and 11.
That's a problem. That I would worry less about the damage to your car and more about 7 and 11.
Yes,
and
Your Honor.
and I've been around this flagpole a long time. You know what I'm talking about?
I
Okay.
guess
Don't answer
what
me.
you're alluding to, yes.
You know, you can go like this and hope for the best with 7 and 11, or you can be proactive.
Your Honor, if I may.
What?
The plaintiff was actually cited at the scene. I have the police report.
I'd like to see it.
Yes, Your Honor. She was given a charge for driving while license revoked. It is on the last page.
Just a second. Other than that,
Also, Your Honor, she said that she saw multiple animals on the road, and yet on her own Facebook account, she said that she doesn't know what happened. She did not see the horse until after she had hit and killed him. Also, Your Honor, her children, she drove in the car with her children with her license revoked, and that is also here in her.
that's for her mother to deal with.
May I say something, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay.
I found out that Ms. Monteith's horses had been getting out on a regular basis.
She's not going to collect anything from you. Her horse wasn't where it was supposed to be. So
And
I'm dismissing your
she's
complaint.
a
I'm dismissing her countersuit.
Okay, so you heard Judge Judy there is saying, hey, I'm going to dismiss this case about the horse. But the mother of the lady driving the car keeps talking. That's a major no-no. When you're winning, shut up. That's the easiest way I could put it. And when you're in a courtroom and you're winning and the judge is ruling for you, keep your mouth shut, take the win, and go home. Because sometimes if you keep talking, somehow, some way, maybe that judge might change their mind. You don't want that. A win is a win. Get the heck out of there and call it a day. Let's see how this wraps up.
It was her.
But
It was
she
her
accused-
It was her responsibility to take care of her toddler, and she didn't take care of her toddler. Your responsibility.
I have the law of North Carolina, Your Honor, that shows that I actually did exactly what I was supposed to do according to their law, and I was not found negligent. I would have been class 3 misdemeanor, charged with one.
Ms. Monte, listen to me carefully. I'm telling you here that I am not awarding you money for your horse because your horse wasn't where it was supposed to be. I didn't make a finding of negligence against
My
you.
horse was
Judge,
not-
I don't care what you say. I'm telling you, your horse is dead
You would have been eaten by the
because
bear.
your horse is dead because it wasn't where it was supposed to be.
This
If
bear.
put your picture down. Put your picture down. If the plaintiff's daughter was drunk, if she was sleepy, if she was in some way stoned, and plowed up on your property, on your fence, knocked down your fence and hit your horse, we'd be in business and you would be collecting the maximum probably that I could award you. Your horse wasn't where it was supposed to be. I'm not giving you any money against the plaintiff. Period.
Same kind of situation. The judge has ruled. The ruling is done. And I give the horse owner some credit. She came to court prepared. She had some law to cite. She had some documents to provide. But at the end of the day, there's no evidence that this driver was drunk. And at this point, there is no evidence, as Judge Judy said, that the driver did anything wrong. And if you own livestock, if you have animals, whether they be horses, dogs, whatever they are, you do have that duty. You have that duty to keep them under control, to keep it safe, and not have them running around the neighborhood. And so the key here, though, is that Judge Judy hasn't found that the driver did anything wrong. If I was that defendant, or if I was representing that defendant, my entire case would have been trying to prove that the driver did something wrong, and that's just not coming out here, and that's why she's losing. Well, there you have it. Justice, Judge Judy style, nobody gets nothing. Next case.